Do you even know what you've done? Magnets! Oh!
Check it out. That's not on the manifest.
Each week we break down another Breaking Bad episode in order. This week we've reached the final, but not really final season. The Season 5 premiere, Live Free or Die. I've got 42 details you might not know, and at 42 minutes, this is the shortest episode of Breaking Bad. 52? I thought he was getting close to 51.
Whoa, what happened there?
It's my birthday.
Oh, we're in a flash forward.
Birthday meals are free at Denny's. All you gotta show is a valid ID.
I'm good, thanks.
Free is good, even if I was like rich. Free is always good.
Yeah, I'll take free rather than die.
Okay.
Why would Walt's fake ID use his real birthday?
New Hampshire. You're a long way from home.
This is the same Denny's that we saw at the start of Season 4. They actually wanted it to look the same, but it had been remodeled in real life. And once again, this Denny's was the first thing they filmed all season. This time it was because that's Brian's real hair and beard, so they got this before he shaved for the remainder of Season 5A.
So what's here?
Lawson. Lawson is here.
Business.
Because they famously didn't have a firm plan on how to tie the story back to this scene later on, they almost shot a variation where this was his 53rd birthday and he'd spell 53 in bacon. Even as his 52nd birthday, this is a jarring jump as the first 4 seasons spanned just over 10 months, and this was an instant jump of almost 14 months.
Excuse me.
They originally thought about having the entire remainder of the series happen after a shocking time jump like this. They'll have to wait to use this technique another time. This is the real Denny's bathroom, but they replaced a single large mirror with these 2 tilted mirrors so it wouldn't reflect the camera in the middle.
I got your word this won't wind up crossing the border?
It's never leaving town.
Good luck, I guess.
Between the coughing and the pills, we get a pretty good sense that Walt's cancer will indeed come back. Real money alert! I think bank is written on it, maybe to distinguish the real money from the fake.
Happy birthday, Mr. Lambert.
Lambert is Skyler's maiden name. Between this, his demeanor, and the fact that he's not wearing a wedding ring, lots of people believe this signaled the death of Skyler. Here we see an obvious inspiration for the title, New Hampshire's state motto, but there's another one as well. It's a reference to a Sopranos episode with the same name. Both happen in their final seasons and feature a character on the run having breakfast at a diner. It also foreshadows Walt's future choice to live free or die. This license plate number also probably has a hidden meaning. It matches this compound ID on the PubChem website, which is methyl something. Maybe this is meth? We know Walt takes on the behavior of people he kills, and there's a confirmed example of this at the end of the episode, but here the fact that he's been driving a Volvo could be a nod to Gus. That M60 machine gun is the same model Rambo used. The original idea was that Walt was coming back to save Jesse from a prison murder by Jack's gang, but Vince realized that, quote, Walt isn't Rambo.
Gus Fring is dead.
As usual, to mess with our memories, the repeated scene is colored and cropped differently, and shows different shots and takes.
It's over. We're safe.
It looks like they applied some skin smoothing to the original face-off footage that they left off in this episode. This reminds me of old sitcoms when a character turns on a light and you see studio lights come on not quite in sync. Here's the cleaning of the stuff that Becky and the henchmen might have noticed earlier in the day. Walt just changed from a green shirt to a blue shirt, reflecting the power he now feels after winning. And Season 5 is the Walt drinks scotch era. This scotch is Dimple Pinch, a nod to Vince's father-in-law who loved it. Between seasons 4 and 5, Breaking Bad's 2 editors got inducted into the American Cinema Editors, and get to put Ace after their names for the rest of the series.
Hey! You didn't tell him about Mr. Fring?
He knows.
Uncle Hank was after this guy. When this hits the news, Uncle Hank is gonna be a hero.
Yeah.
Well, don't you think I rate a hello, at least?
Hello.
Hello to you, too. You gonna show some kind of mild relief that I'm alive?
I am relieved, Walt. And scared.
Scared of what?
You.
Skyler's hair grew quite a bit in the last couple of hours.
Oh, shit.
By this point, the Superlab set was completely dismantled, so this is a new partial set. I find it really interesting that the ground is dirt. Would the floor really disintegrate? Did they remove the floor to look for anything buried underneath? That ceiling was digitally added. In fact, this episode has 53 visual effects shots in it, which is more than double the amount they normally have. They're subtle, but I'll point out some of them as we go.
Jesus, just say it already. Tell me I told you so. Get it out of your system before you need, like, dialysis or something.
It's exactly like Bedeker's drawings.
Where were the 2 bodies?
Those were the 2 unnamed henchmen Walt shot.
No idea who they were?
No, not much left. Apparently the teeth do this popcorn thing when they get too hot.
Apparently you can still use the tooth roots or the structure of their jaw and sinuses to match them to dental records.
String, you magnificent bastard.
Did you hear that? I think it's a fly. Maybe this is the evidence I've been looking for that the fly episode wasn't a dream.
What do you figure that was? Maybe a camera?
Mike is still in
Mexico! Nice, let Wendell in there. Wendell doesn't eat, nobody eats.
It's Gustavo. He's dead.
Mike's driving the same car that they used to escape Paladio's hacienda. He stops it across both tracks, but then it budges to the side for this one shot.
Son of a bitch! Whoa, 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 hold up! Do you even know what you've done?
Yeah, he saved his own life.
One more word!
What? If you kill him, you're gonna have to kill me.
Oh, Jesse.
Gus kept cameras on us. It's all on tape somewhere, or a hard drive. Where did he keep it?
A laptop in his office.
What?
Keys, scumbag. It's the universal symbol for keys.
You think we could work together on this thing? You folks have it over there?
Inspector Clark. Inspector Dave Clark. What, Dave Clark 5?
This is Mike's go-to alternate persona.
My name's Dave Clark. Oh, yeah? We're boned.
It's been a long time, but that's the next broken phone.
You know how they say it's been a pleasure? It hasn't.
Can't say it's been a pleasure.
I need you to do one more thing. Where is the laptop?
APD, Northwest Area Command, and they locked it in their evidence room.
Describe the building.
You gonna put on your black leotard and go dangling on a clothesline?
He's good with this stuff, okay? Just give him a chance.
This is a place that is guarded 24 hours a day by the police.
We just need to destroy what's on it.
Oh, so now you want to blow up a police
I
station?
don't believe I said that, no. Say this device gets filed into evidence. Now it is inside that room.
What about a magnet? Yo, what
An
about like a magnet?
incendiary...
A magnet,
Fine,
though,
so
maybe
a bomb,
like...
then.
Or what about a magnet?
What magnet?
Jesse once again comes through with a good idea.
So what do you think?
Hey, we're living in a time of string theories and God particles. Feasible, doable, yeah, sure, why not?
The God particle was theoretical until it was discovered 11 days before this episode first aired.
What would you put it in? What about that? What's the box made of?
Plywood and aluminum, just what you need.
Jonathan takes a step back here because the car was not supposed to roll down the pile like
I'd
that.
appreciate it if you could spot me my share. I'll pay you back.
Yeah, whatever. If you have any brains, you'll take that money you saved and you skip town.
This is a three-man job. The only way I know it won't work for sure is if we don't have you.
Look at that laughable taskbar. Skylar's reading the Albuquerque Journal, a real newspaper, although this page is called Untitled Document. And I'm pretty sure Hector's leg is still in that photo.
What did we say about you coming here?
Saul's hair also looks very different to me compared to last season.
There was an incident with Beneke with the...
Oh, God.
An act of God.
Ted's dead.
Sorry?
Ted is dead?
No. He just woke up.
Those are hand-carved painted styrofoam.
All right, watches off. Earrings, rings, bracelets. What about that stuff you young guys wear on the end of your pricks? What's up with that, by the way? Why wouldn't anybody want to put a metal ring through the end of their prick?
What are you looking at me for?
Twist this here, that's your power control.
Many claim this is an AC controller, which would be wrong for DC Power. I tried to verify this, but the only thing I found out for sure is that you can buy this exact prop on eBay. Can any of you confirm what kind of controller this is? We see right away that the magnet can cause the van to tilt.
Anything?
Now that's a more realistic taskbar.
No, still working. Start walking forward slowly. Whoa. Wait. Yeah, that did it.
There's another visual effect. 3 guys behind the truck did really yank the laptop with a wire running through the truck, so they erased the wire.
Wire.
Yeah, bitch! Magnets! Oh!
The guy on the right is from the Breaking Bad crew, and he also appeared in one of Saul's online commercials.
This is me before I called Saul. I was 300 pounds, I had lost my job, and I was impotent. This is me after the Saul Goodman plan. Thanks, Saul.
Can you add 21 more wired in parallel? Up the amperage?
Here's where we say goodbye to old Joe in Breaking Bad. The actor Larry had a scene with Cranston in Malcolm in the Middle.
Whatever St. Mark's is giving you, we'll double it.
You can double eternal salvation?
Yes, I can.
You're funny.
This is an unusually patient elevator. This was filmed at the studio offices, and Ted's room is the lead accountant's office.
Hey, Ted.
He was willing to shave his head for this, but that's a bald cap because he needed his hair for a different job.
Ted,
I haven't said anything. I told them it was an accident. They tripped and fell. That is all they know.
I woke up, I found her, that's all I know.
I've got children. I will never breathe one word.
If this is attached to his skull, I think he's got a screw loose.
Good.
They did really film this at the Northwest Area Command, the place Mike described. That's wasp spray. Apparently it's popular for this very thing since it can spray really high.
What the hell is this? There's some big-ass hump in the way.
That hump is a ramp because there's really an entrance there. They covered it with a fake wall so they wouldn't damage a real wall. This metal controller is probably too close to the magnet, right? That's why Walt stood so far away when they tested this. He misspelled Beretta, which is understandable, but the dates here are in 2011, even though we're supposed to still be in 2009. When the flickering effect starts, it says effects on the screen. That paperclip is entirely digital. As you might imagine, lots of visual effects were involved in this scene as well. They did the same trick as before of yanking on fishing line then erasing it in post. That's the exact same siren sound effect used in Face Off.
Mr. White, let's go. Hang on.
Walt really loves to push his luck.
Mr. White!
To do this, they had the truck in a giant hydraulic rig and digitally erase that. You can see some funny business here. Mythbusters Jr. tested this caper and found that the magnet could not affect anything that was more than 2 feet away.
It moved the lamp. It bent the rebar structure protecting the wall. But that's about it.
It's not even affecting the computer. I want to point out that the paperclip on the desk never even moved.
They're lucky the F evidence is stored close to the exterior wall because A, B, C, and D are out of range.
Jaycox, you okay? Outside, outside!
These are all real Albuquerque police officers who have never acted before, including Officer Jaycox, who has a pretty big part. Perhaps he's related to Roland Jaycox, inventor of Tony the Toilet Buddy.
Oh, yeah, that's the way.
And is it a coincidence that this week we got a new member named Jake Cox? In the Breaking Bad universe, there are no coincidences. Not only that, Jake is a paraeducator who sent this whiteboard photo where he's spreading awareness of this channel in the classroom. Thanks, Mr. Jake. The entire bottoms of these shots are computer generated since that's where the rig is in real life. They had a ton of work to do here with all the camera movement and people running in front and behind it. The flashlight light is all digital. And again, you can see some wonkiness if you look frame by frame. Jesse has a habit of screaming in fast cars at night.
Shut up!
More visual effects are used here to replace the green screen outside the car, but that happens for a lot of Breaking Bad car shots.
Did all that even work just now? It worked. I was supposed to take that on faith. How do we know? Because I say so.
Aaron said that this was the point that Jesse started to worry about who Walt was becoming. Poor Matt Fate. He was not only attacked with a roofing hammer, but he was also one of Walt's students. He's named after a crew member who appeared as Preppy Shopper in Season 3. Also, we just saw him listed as the suspect for the homicide involving that Beretta. And it's funny that the year this was sealed is listed as just 1. But this was definitely not filled out correctly, as the description of the evidence is Alvin, and the description of the offense is roofing hammer.
Fring, Gustavo, Samsung, laptop computer, damaged. Frame photograph of 2 men, damaged. Huh, check it out. That's not on the manifest.
This should be spelled like this, right? Because B-A-N-C in French means bench. But we know Gus isn't fantastic with other languages.
You did put her in charge of your money.
Here's the other Gusism. Brian said he was purposely really still in this scene because he was channeling Gus.
I say, hey, let's involve Walt in this discussion, to which she says, no.
Let's involve Walt in this discussion.
There's that aviation law book again in an even more prominent spot than before. Saul continues to try to cash in on the tragedy.
She's my client. Same as you.
Walt is of course being hypocritical considering all the secrets he kept from Skyler.
I try my best, ethically.
Did you actually just use the word ethically? You're not Clarence Darrow, Saul. You're a 2-bit bus bench lawyer, and you work for me.
Clarence Darrow never had a client like you ask him for something like this. Huel, he's got fingers like hot dogs. He could have easily busted this in 2 and killed everyone in the office. But do I complain? No, I'm your Huckleberry. I go the extra mile.
Saul loves old-timey phrases. This was common in the 1800s and Val Kilmer's famous line from Tombstone.
I'm your Huckleberry.
You never told me that kid would wind up in the hospital. You and me, we're done. Come on. Hey.
We're done when I say we're done. I heard what happened to Ted.
He's not gonna talk.
I forgive you.
For the first time in a long time, Walt feels good about himself and powerful, and he's addicted to the feeling. And now for more film artifacts I missed in previous videos. U23 is a 1-year member. Congratulations to U23 for earning the coveted 1-year membership badge from YouTube.
Yeah, bitch! Members! Oh!
You first joined for the video I released a week before starting this series. Thanks again for all your support and your great comments. Say hi to all the new members who joined this week through the link in the description. Emerson TV, Explosive Muse, Surfaced Fox, Spencer, Vonix, Chaotin Winterscream, Keithius Maximus, Ruqueer, Kadir Yavuz Kurt, our friend Jake Cox, Carnage Game, Kirsty Nelson, Cathal Lacey, Born Annoying, Magic Cow, File Not Found, Stefan Zernick, Phil Swift, Sarkis, Simon, Justin Cage, Nemo, Roseme, Lesson Met, Cardinal, Bad Kid PMG LOL, Gabriel the Kratos, Dave T1, Wolf Schleigelstein Hausenberger, Water Lemon, Nicer Killers, Finn Negrello, Onsku, Rome Falls, Hazel, Catnip, Kavuli C, Anna Bjorgman, Basil, Oscar Fry, Gregory Hatch, Batuhan Aslan, Evera, Luke, Dr. Coomer, Surf, Kickin' Hobo, Better Watch What I Watch When I Watch Better Watch TV, Nucci, Serenaded, Pietro Corsellini, Hutch the Lynx, Noble Brains, Nestomach, Zar Zero, Wife Sex Gaming, and Kada. We've got a new members exclusive emoji, Tuco. It's tempting to try a film artifact emoji, but I'm not sure since there are so few slots available. What do you think? Hello, General Merrick, Adam Coslin, Tuyus, Dolphanic, Terezi, and 8 Ball Paul. And thank you, Andrew, Paul Blanchard, El Guapo Gato, Hank, LMAO, Rick SSBM, and Divana. Now I need to fix the pronunciation of Zach, plus 1,000 apologies to Blue30 for You, who I accidentally called Blue Thirsty for You last time. Thanks again to all members for your continued support. Next week, Breaking Bad goes to Germany. Have we talked about Germany yet?
Time to do some magic. After we finish the scene, we'll do magic.